Why are most young women afraid of spirituality? I think this is very interesting because young people in general, but one thing, of course, they have very high hormones. But what does that mean, having high hormones like estrogen, testosterone, all that? It means you're very focused on the biological survival. You're very focused on, like, the highest testosterone in men is when they're 14, 15. So during this age with women and men, the sexual identity starts, the masculine energy starts, you start to set your boundaries, your territory. And the interesting thing is that once a woman turns 30 and older, she went maybe through some trauma, selecting the wrong type of guys, and or she had a long-term relationship which didn't end so well, so she's trying to look for spiritual answers. And here comes the interesting thing, is the the woman, as she's seeking the perfect sexual partner for having children, she's unconsciously doing that, or consciously, but most of the time these programs run unconsciously. She's looking for the ultimate partner, and the spiritual partner will not give her this sexual hierarchy manifestation possibility, because he'll be like, just like as I was for a long time, I was like, as I'll just let it go, everything just has its own plan, its own flow. Young women don't want that. They want a guy who's in control, who manifests, which I'm going to talk about a lot on Fuck Matrix, fkmatrix.com. And so, and you really have this cliff, like the let's say 18 to 27-year-old women, 28-year-old women are like that, and then it does that shift. So for a man, if he wants a woman to have a young woman to have a relationship with for starting a family, he can't be like, oh, I'm just letting everything go, I'm just living without a plan. It just doesn't work that way, because she is unconsciously seeking for something completely different. So you have to understand these dynamics in order to understand why people act the way they do. And I'm going to be talking about this much more, especially also on fkmatrix.com, but in general, I'm going to be talking about this a lot, because it fixes the problem of men either not knowing what they should do to be attractive, being unsure about the demands of women nowadays, and being basically just frustrated. And if you look into the subtlety of this is like such a powerful video that I'm gonna have to sell like the details of this. So this is why I can't, just blur out everything, because this is such a good video. This is gonna be such a good video when I come out with what you need to do as a man to be attractive. It's just gonna blow your mind totally. And so you have to understand, if you're a young man and you're going and you're like sensitive and you're going the spiritual route and you feel like hypersensitive like I was, or introverted, you're gonna have a tough time with the 18 to 28-year-olds. It's just, maybe it's not gonna happen at all, because they just look for something completely different, which I for a long time was not. But it's not rocket science in the sense, no, I'll just say it differently, it's not doable. You can do it. It's just a different, you have to have a different perspective. You have to understand it on a different level. And then it changes completely. And it's also not much of a question of age, funnily enough. It gets more difficult with age, obviously, but it's not such an issue of age. It's also not such an issue of looks. And the reason I'm saying all of this is because you might be in the same situation where you're like, okay, I'm hyper spiritual, I love living without a plan, I love letting go, I'm just aware, but I'm lacking the relationship. And of course you can find a relationship with a 30 plus woman that has been severely, traumatized and then finds her way to spirituality. But the question as a man, if you want to start a family, is do you really want that? Or do you want the 20-year-old that, is in the perfect age to bear children? So yeah. So this is some hardcore information, and some people, spiritual people, don't like to hear this. Maybe because they have a an unresolved issue there, but it's just a fact. Mooji and Rupa Spira, they don't pull the 20-year-olds. Maybe if they get super super famous like they're doing now, maybe. But then again, how and why did they get famous? So I'm gonna really unclog and show you really the details of what's really going on, and it's just gonna blow your mind, even with these spiritual teachers. Um, yeah.